Starting out in the early morning here at Cousteau, which is a French bakery. Get some coffee and some breakfast. Here you can see some of the bakery items. There's croissants, muffins, cookies, different cakes here. Here's a little bit of the decor of the restaurant. They have a really high ceiling there. They have a little meeting room here. This is Bodega Bay Harbor on our way to Bodega Bay on the Pacific Ocean. Here's the first views of Bodega Bay, California, and then the scenery or the landscaping around it. Bird there. There's a sign here, Marine Protection Area. Here we are at Bodega Bay. Just walking down here. They have all different trails that go through. It's a little steep. Now that we made it to the actual shoreline here, got this little wood thing. I don't know if they're going to use it for a bonfire or not. But here you can see the Pacific Ocean. And the blue is like that blue. It's really amazing how blue the Pacific Ocean is.
Flat out on a beach bed.
Very scenic here. See here the waves are really coming in pretty high. Almost got me a couple times, but never got wet. I've climbed up on some of the rocks here so you can actually see the water going below me here. The waves are just amazing. Here's zoomed in from above here. You can see the waves crashing into the rocks there. Climb back up to the top here so you can see the overlook from up here. Different perspective from way up here as well. There she blows. Spotting gray whales. And then it'll be down over there. Looks like a whole bunch of pelicans down there. Some seagulls. Oh, there's some birds flying there. All the birds just hanging out. This talks about the fishing industry and how in the early 1900s it started getting salmon year-round. Here's where we're climbing next, up over on this. So still at Bodega Bay, heading towards the seals next. Pacific Ocean behind me. There's a climb up this trail here and you can see all the different markings there of all the different places you can go. There's the bay back there too. So continuing on the trail, and we can hear the seals every once in a while, so we should have a good sighting. Look at how far down that is. Walking out on the top of the cliff here, you see how far down that is. Great views though from up here. So we can go down here, right to the edge of the cliff here. It's unstable ground, so, well, not unstable, but it's hard to get your balance. Or keep your balance. Do a whole panoramic here. There's a walking path, and then down out here is the island with the seals. Hopefully that'll come out. Probably be a little grainy, but try to zoom in on that. Heading back now, the seals are back over here. So back to the ocean side. Just walking back along the cliffs here. Pretty much straight down. You can see there's a way to actually walk down to the beach. Looks somewhat sketchy though. And then I don't know how you get back up. Probably amazing views from down there though. So here's where people start going down. I'm not going to actually do it. Leaving Bodega Bay, heading now to the fort, which is the next one about 20 miles north of here. So this is Fort Ross. This is north of San Francisco. And this is in Jenner, California. So Fort Ross was a Russian fort when it was actually built. Here's some info on Fort Ross. You can pause it and blow it up if you want to read more detail. Here's the windmill on the site, and here's some information about it. It was built in 1814 and it was the first California windmill. They actually have the actual wings on it sometimes, but not today. There's a stone there for grinding flour. And here's looking up at it. Unfortunately, you can't go on the top, but maybe on special occasions you can. But you can see how each piece is kind of fit together there. This is some information. It's kind of hard to read, but I figured I would leave it in there. Fort Ross State Historical Park. Stellar sea lions. Gray whales. And California sea lions. I know there's also pelicans. Here's a relic of the first Russians in America. Here's a map of the area when the actual fort was built. And then here's some photos of the area, different things from the time period. They did a real nice job of displaying different stuff. The Larger family. Here's some teepees. The lure of fur. And then here's the actual fort, which we're going to tour in a minute. Which some of it's actually still there now. Here's an early version of a kayak that they used. Kind of resembles one pretty much the same, except it's more enclosing around the waist. These are actually used to hunt sea otters. Their home was Fort Ross. This is from 1840, a photo or a sketch of what it would have actually looked like. And here's some details on it. It's basically a large square. The last years of Fort Ross. This talks about the last years of Fort Ross. Changing fortunes. American use. The last owners. The wood industry. Shooting cargo. Here's a replica of it. There's a cargo going down. That's where I was watching the sea lions. And they have a little chute back there as well. Thriving little village. Oh, look, the Fort Ross Hotel. Sonoma County, California. Here's leaving the visitor center, which is behind me there. And we're heading to the fort now. Should be down over here. Heading to the fort over a bridge here. We're still at Fort Ross and we're heading to the actual fort and see what's still left there. I think they have some cannons, some of the buildings are there, so we'll see what they have and what they'll let us into and what we can see. Look at this old weathered fence. It's amazing that it's still there. And here's some of the buildings coming up now. The Russian village site. And then right here behind us, the actual entrance to it. Heading into the fort here. We entered through the west gate, and the first building we see is the old warehouse here. Here's looking at the old warehouse on the left side. They have it staged with everything from that time period and what it might have looked like. Very detailed and very authentic. A lot of furs. We're on the far right side. So this is more like a general store, it looks like. Different things packaged, different things to purchase. Look at the detail on these old hinges here. And there's an old doorknob down here too. Here's one of two 7-sided blockhouses. This is the northwest side one. We'll cut through the door here. And when you first come in, you can see the cannons pointing in all the different directions. And they actually have these little door openings where they can actually slide it out if they were needed to be fired. This cannon is probably of British manufacture. It was recovered from the Bodega Bay. During World War II, it was rescued from a scrap iron pile. Later, Mr. Hedden donated the cannon to Fort Ross. That's where we came in from. It's a cannon, so let's head upstairs. More cannon portholes. Looking out the window, looking over the area. These would actually close. Hope I have them actually reversed. That would close. There's a cannon on the outside here.
Rifles in here.
I believe this is the first place in California to have glass windows. So looking at the first room to the left here, you can see all the different kind of, looks like farming equipment, rakes and different ropes. Moving to the other side of the building on the right side, on the first floor. Looking through here, we can see all the rifles, gunpowder. Oh, actually cannonballs down there too. Now we go upstairs in this building. Oh, so these were sleeping quarters. See the desk there, the bed in the corner, weaving machine, pictures of them. Moving into the next room here, another, oh, this one has 2 beds. Maybe this is for the kids. I don't know what this big room was right here. Assuming these were all bedrooms. This area out here. This was a building we were at previously. So there's one more room in here, just down over here. Oh, actually multiple rooms. This room goes into another one. You can see the original glass, how it's, hopefully it shows up, but it's not a super clear pane. And you can see the bay out there. And you had these big doors here that would close. I meant window covers. Then the bar would keep it locked. This is like a bedroom, or is a bedroom. This is almost like a laboratory, or where they catch or where they'd have specimens and analyze different things. Here's Fort Ross sign, designated as a registered National Historic Landmark in 1961. So this is a chapel here, 1906. Here's the bell here. This is the back of the chapel. Had a doorway there. Not sure what this was for. It's a very square room. Here's the chapel from the outside. And we're continuing down over here. There's a little creek area, little cross bridges here. And then we're going into this building next. This has been where they ate and everything. Here's the stove. The wood. Here's kind of the pantry area. There's like a walk-in pantry. Guy just told me that the kids used to sleep up here because it's above where the stove was, so it's the warmest place in the house. Continuing on here, here's a bedroom. Here's 2 more bedrooms. Oh no, this is actually like a milling room. Or a workshop, I guess I should say. Probably like a lathe, stone grinder. Then on this side's more of a tool shop. And there's the front door. That's a storage room back there. And here's another bedroom. Must have had roof access. So the Rochev house, 1838 to 1841. Now here's the lay of the land. So this was the entry area where I think we just came in. Servants' room, dining room, study, bedroom, children's, and parlor. So this should be the servants' room. Back porch over here. There's a commandant's bedroom. Well, this is definitely a kid's bedroom. This is a parlor. We'll get a better view from the other side. Here's the dining room. Fireplace there. So the parlor room's the room back there, which is right there. This is like the study room. So now we're back outside and we're out over by the ocean here. Another old fence here. There's some amazing coastline views from over here too. So I figured I'd put these in at the end of the video in case anybody wanted to see them. A lot of rocks in the area. Great views. So we'll continue on here and see what's down here. Incredible views. Could see whales out there. I don't know if I can see them from here though. See the water shooting up. And there's the Pacific Ocean. Continuing hiking through Fort Ross here. Climbing another elevation here. Oh, there's actually a lizard there. It's amazing how close you can get to the edge. Just to give you scope of it, here's people that I'm with over here. They just look like dots. Oh, here's something left over from the fort chain. You can see how the water just carves into here. Getting close to the edge here, or the end of it, over at the Pacific Ocean. So a whole bunch of pelicans over there. Look at these rock formations. Hopefully you can see all the pelicans over on the rocks there. Here's a 360 of the area of Fort Ross. Coming up on the pelicans here. Pacific Ocean. Oh, a little bit back to the pelicans there. Up over on this walkout. So I'll leave you with some views of the Pacific Ocean as I conclude the video here. This is the end of the Fort Ross video. Thanks for watching.